All right, what's up, Math 8? Welcome to another lesson. This one is 2.7, solving inequalities using addition or subtraction. And that is pretty much our objective for the day as well, is just to be able to solve those inequalities. They're going to be one-step inequalities, and you're going to use just addition or subtraction. All right. This is lesson 3.2, I believe, in your packet, but it just starts on page 82. So that's what you're looking for, is page 82 in your packet. All right. So we will go ahead and get started. We're just going to skip on past this first page. We'll get straight down to page 83. All right. And we will start here. All right. So for inequalities, you're really just going to do it the same way that you would do equations, right? You're going to solve it the same way. So these are one-step inequalities. We're going to solve it the same way we would solve one-step equations, okay? So this first example on problem 1, they give us here on problem 1, n minus 5 is less than negative 3. It asks us to find the solutions, all right? So the first thing we're going to do, this is this number 12 here, all right? For n minus 5 is less than negative 3, the first thing you need to do is add 5 to both sides, right? Because we have a negative 5 right here, okay? So you're going to add 5 to both sides of the equation in order to make that cancel, right? So if we do plus 5 and plus 5, this one cancels, all right? And then I guess that was a confusing way of putting it. So if you just leave it like this, because I already had plus 5, didn't I? So if we just left it like this, these two 5s will cancel. And we have negative 3 plus 5 on this side, on the right side, and that is 2. Okay, so we should be left with n is less than 2. All right. After you've solved it, now you're okay to go ahead and start graphing. All right, so you want to look for where n, your point is at 2. Okay, that would be this graph, or this graph. All right. Just kidding, that's not 2, that's negative 2. So, not that one. All right, be careful on that because I just made that mistake. So this is at 2. So this would be the graph you would want to circle for number 13. All right. So, really simple. Again, we just solve it the same way that we would solve equations. All right, so I'll write that down for you real quick. All right, so you can see kind of on the right in red, I wrote inequalities solved just like an equation. Okay. Yeah, so that's the idea. You want to solve it just like an equation. All right. So I want you to go ahead and try got it problem 2 down here. I meant to do that in blue, but it's fine. So go ahead and try the got it problem 2. We have n minus 11 is greater than or equal to negative 2. So you are going to do 15 and 16. 14 is optional. All right, so if you want to do that just to help you, if you're struggling with 15, go back up to 14, and that'll help you kind of think through it, hopefully. All right, so give 15 and 16 a go, and then after you've done that, resume the video, and we will move on. All right, we are now on page 84, once you've finished that last problem. All right, so we are going to go ahead. What is going on? All right, whatever. I think I got it. Sorry. We are going to go ahead and look here at problem 3. This is the subtraction property of inequality, right? So earlier we did addition. This one is now the subtraction property of inequality. All right, just a quick note, we did have properties of equality so that's for an equation. All right, whenever we have an inequality, they're just called properties of inequality. All right, so they're basically the same ideas though. So for this problem, we have negative 1 is greater than or equal to y plus 12. All right, so we're going to solve it again the same way we would solve an equation. All right, we need to isolate the variable. All right, so we need to isolate y as our variable here. All right, so we will go ahead and subtract 12 from both sides. All right, that'll make these two 12s cancel. All right, and then -1 minus 12 is -13. All right, so y is going to be less than or equal to -13. We have it written here as -13 is greater than or equal to y. This is the same thing. If you flip it, y is less than or equal to -13. Just remember, your less than side needs to have the 1 point, right? Which is why these are both true, because the y is still the lesser side on both of these. Okay, so just be careful with that. If you do end up flipping it, I will probably, a lot of times I'll say it this way, even if it's written this way, just because I think it sounds more natural. But if you want to leave it written the way we have it here, that's fine with me. You don't have to change the way it's written. All right, so the next thing we would do is graph this on the number line. All right, so I'm going to look for -13. That's going to be on the left side of 0, so it's going to be right here. Okay, I'm going to notice it is equal to, right? So that line underneath means it's also equal to -13. So I'm going to go ahead and shade for equal to. All right. And then you'll notice -13 is greater than y. This is why I like to write it the other way. Right? So if I write it this way, whoops, -13. This arrow tells me which direction to shade. All right, so I'm going to shade this direction. Okay, and that should be true. So if I were to plug in -14 to double check on that, we would have -14 instead of y is less than or equal to -13. All right, this is true. Okay, so I know that my graph, I shaded it the correct way. All right, and basically 21 is what we just did right here. All right, and that told us that our solution is correct. All right, lastly, we are going to move on to problem 4. This one's a word problem. It's not that bad as long as we can get the words properly written in an expression form. All right, or sorry, in inequality form. Okay. So it says a club has a goal to sell 25 plants for a fundraiser. Club members sell 8 plants on Wednesday and 9 plants on Thursday. What are the possible numbers of plants the club can sell on Friday to meet their goal? All right, so I'm going to go ahead and start just by underlining all the really important stuff here. All right, so at least 25 plants. That's their goal. All right. And then we also have 8 plants on Wednesday and 9 plants on Thursday. All right. Now we're looking to find the possible numbers of plants the club can sell on Friday to meet their goal. All right. So you'll notice it says at least right here. Okay. Whenever we have the word at least, okay, that's going to be a trigger word to tell you which or what sign you're looking for. All right, so at least is kind of tricky, right? Because at least you're thinking less than, right? But that is not the case. Okay, if I say I have at least, I don't know, at least 5 apples. That's a lot of apples, first of all. I'm not going to eat those all in one day because that would make me really full of apples. So anyway, whenever I see at least, that means if I have at least 5 apples, that means I have 5 apples or I have more than 5 apples, right? Not less than. Even though it says least and that sounds like less than, if I tell you I have at least 5 apples, you're going to expect me to have 5 apples or 6 apples or 7 or 8 or so on. Again, hopefully I don't have to eat 8 apples because that's a lot of apples. So at least is going to be greater than, but it can also be equal to, right? Because when they say at least 25 plants, maybe it's exactly 25 plants. That would still be meeting their goal. All right, so it's going to be greater than or equal to. Okay. All right. And then P is going to be, so for this one, we already know plants sold Wednesday. That is equal to 8. We already know plants sold Thursday. That's equal to 9. What we don't know is plants sold Friday. All right, so P is going to equal plants sold Friday. All right, hopefully that makes sense. Make sure you get that written down if it doesn't, and we will certainly talk about it if we need to. So we have 8 plus 9 plus P is greater than or equal to 25. That's going to be our equation for 84. All right. From here we can go ahead and we can solve this ourselves. So I'm going to rewrite it down here. We have 8 plus 9 plus P is greater than or equal to 25. Because we need to combine like terms, this is actually going to end up being a two-step equation. All right, so I'm going to combine like terms here. That's going to be 17. We have 17 plus P is greater than or equal to 25. All right. Then we can subtract 17 from both sides in order to isolate the variable. All right, that'll cancel there. We're left with P is greater than or equal to 8. All right, so this tells us.
Does anyone in the building?
All right, sorry about that. We got an announcement over the intercom about Diet Coke. So if anyone has an extra Diet Coke, it was missing in some rooms. So if you needed that, go get it. All right, so anyway, we have P is greater than or equal to 8. This tells us that in order for them to reach their goal, so to reach their goal, they need to sell 8 plants Friday. All right. That's what that tells us. Okay. That is it for this lesson. We will certainly review this a little bit in class. So, hope you enjoyed it. Hope you understood it all. If not, make sure you ask questions, and I will see you guys in class.